Alright, we were running into issues with setting up the Yampad for initial setup. We've tried the make Yampad default. We get an error right here on QMK MSYS. So I wanted to walk through that today to detail what I did to fix it, what I found to fix it, and now that we have it working, we can start customizing our Yampad. But to fix it here, step one, it says here, try this after setting up your build environment. If you've got to this video, you've probably gotten that far, but to set up your build environment, you click here. It has you download QMK MSYS, and then it tells you once you're downloaded, run QMK setup. So we've got it downloaded here. Let's clear this screen out, and we're going to run QMK setup. Setup. It shows you here this QMK home is C users, in my case BenLB, QMK firmware. So it's going to come in handy here in a second. It says test your build environment, which is QMK compile -KB. Our keyboard is Yampad -KM default. It's going to sit here and it's going to error out in a second. Alright, so it says no rule to make target Yampad default. The issue here is that in our home environment, which is in our C users, BenLB, QMK firmware, there is nothing in this keyboards folder for Yampad. So we look down here to UVWXY. There is YD, YA, but no Yampad. We need to make that folder happen. So I found the solution to this in this post right here on GitHub from 2020. It seems to be fixed. It seems to be there was a pull request submitted. I don't know how GitHub works, so maybe I'm doing something wrong, but here's the fix. So you can run through this guy's steps. Step one is to create a temporary folder for this. So let's just say mkdir, make directory, Yampad, or let's just say QMK temp. So this is making a folder. We're going to change directory into QMK-temp. Now there should be nothing in this folder. Cool, we're empty. So let's do our git clone QMK firmware. This is going to take a little bit. We'll fast forward through this part. Alright, so that finished up. So let's cd into QMK firmware. Then we're going to git check out Yampad. Once we have all this, we will have control of the files. We're going to copy the Yampad folder that exists here into the keyboard folder that does not exist, or does not have a copy of Yampad in it, on our home directory here for QMK MSYS. We can just open up File Explorer. We can go, let's just go to C. We will go to users. Yep, users, BenLB, QMK firmware, QMK temp. So inside of QMK temp here, we can say QMK firmware, keyboards, Yampad. We're going to copy, and we're going to go back to our user directory, go to QMK firmware, go to keyboards. This is where Yampad doesn't exist. We're going to paste Yampad into it. Now, alright, we have the file there. We need to go back to our standard setup for the Yampad directory here. We can, it's also listed here, and what you can do is say QMK compile -KB Yampad -KM default. It's going to look for it, and if we did our job right, it'll find it this time. There we go. All we have to do Get that in there. Get the Yampad folder in there. Now we can cd into QMK firmware. Now we should be able to run that. Alright, that's doing its thing. It says looking for your keyboard. So let's reset my Yampad here. And there we go. Now we've got the default loaded on, and we can start doing our custom firmware for our Yampad. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks for watching.